everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from gorgeous Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today,
We're going to discuss what happens when real values, real morals in a society start clashing with religion. Religion has morals, but it's sort of like...
they're like fake morals.
They have fake morals that are sort of intertwined with real morals.
They're based in
what they have.
hogwash.
What they have is rules,
They have rules.
and
Arbitrary.
and some of those rules aren't good.
Well, a lot of them are based on ancient superstitions.
Yeah.
Or ancient ideas about maybe food handling.
Or ancient Chinese secrets about
Getting stains out.
clothing washing. That one's just for the old folks, like us. If you're over 40, you'll know what we're talking about. Yeah. So we'll be discussing the coming cataclysm that is secularism versus anyway.
We'll see.
But
we'll see.
Before we get to that, what do you got? You got something good?
Well, Dan,
Yeah.
just to get this one out of the way, because the best stories are ones you get out of the way.
Right. I think so. I think so.
No, we've been bringing up a lot lately, sort of Boy Scouting or just scouting in general.
Yeah.
It's
Boy
come
Scouts,
up
Girl Scouts
a
of
bit.
America.
There's been some developments, churches, conservative groups, like churches that are deciding to leave.
Yeah.
In particular, the Girl Scouts. It's been happening like mad because the Girl Scouts is like, a legitimately progressive organization.
Yeah.
And so
They actually are inclusive and shit.
Why would the Catholic Church want to keep their girls in it?
No,
They're not a progressive organization.
Yeah, they hate inclusion.
So, and with the Boy Scouts of America as well, it's traditionally been a very conservative group,
Yeah.
but they've made a few concessions. They've been trying to keep up with society at large in certain ways. They've allowed gay scout masters.
Yeah. They're a little
Recently.
they're a little behind the curve, but they're getting there.
Right. But they also have, it's not a blanket policy. It's just that they allow it. The troops themselves don't have to conform. They've really tried to wade some very tricky waters for their organization.
Yeah.
If you're going to liberalize at BSA, it's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
Well, we got some news today that the LDS Church is taking some initial steps away from the Boy Scouts of America. At this point, it's not clear exactly how far it will eventually go. We know that it's not going to go any further than just taking the 14 to 18-year-olds out of BSA. So those are that's your varsity and venturing scouts. The more sort of go on 50-mile hikes and that kind of shit.
Does it say something about my tenure as a scout that I had no idea that there were varsity and venture scouts? Is that what you said? Varsity and venture?
Venturing.
Yeah.
So varsity is more like like the high adventure stuff.
Right.
Lots of rappelling and all that crap.
I like
and
that stuff.
venturing, if I remember correctly, might be more. There's one is more water based than the other.
Oh.
Like you can go and
So if you want to get your Aquaman merit badge,
that's exactly it. Yeah.
That's
now Cub Scouts and the sort of just the basic Boy Scouting program.
Yeah.
Will continue to be what the younger boys and the boys up to 13 will participate in
the Mormon Church.
In the Mormon
Church. Mormon boys.
But the LDS Church, people who maybe don't know a lot about the LDS Church or maybe don't have a lot of affiliation with Boy Scouts America, Mormon Church is huge in BSA.
Yeah.
Like one of the largest groups within the BSA.
They are. It's strange. They are like, I think they're the biggest Boy Scouts charter. I mean, not anymore, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what this will do to their numbers, but like, for example, Thomas S. Monson, the current president of the LDS Church, although who knows, I mean, the guy could die at any moment. So
he could be dead
as
right
of
now.
This recording,
they could they could have been weekend Bernieing that guy for a year.
This last general conference, they definitely had that guy. We're just walking that guy around,
propped up on sticks.
Nonetheless, he has been such a big deal in BSA, higher up, organizationally, whatever, that there's a new state-of-the-art scouting leadership complex under construction in West Virginia that will actually be named after him. And there's also a 23,000 square foot scout lodge here in Utah, in the Uintas, that is named after Monson as well. So he's sort of been he's earned some advanced adult awards in BSA.
Wait,
leadership can actually win awards.
Oh, wow.
Or attain rank, right? Just like the boys. So you have your Eagle Scout, right?
Yeah.
Rank. He has achieved Silver Beaver.
Oh, well, I also have achieved Silver Beaver.
Silver Buffalo.
Okay.
Bronze Wolf.
Wow.
And Silver Fox.
Oh, meow. Really? Tommy boy.
But this all...
He is so the opposite of anything that could be labeled Silver Fox.
Oh, no, not at any point in his aging.
No.
No, he wasn't like...
Is he even gray? He's got the dark hair still.
Does he just ferment it? Or is that natural?
Probably.
Got to look youthful and vibrant.
Vibrant. I think when he was 13, that man couldn't look vibrant.
But this, like, Dan, this is, for me, this is, it speaks to a larger thing, of a phenomenon that is happening in America. And who knows where else in the world right now. Which is that we are continuing to take these steps of sequestering and separating ourselves off from each other.
If you aren't with us, you're against us.
So the conservative people, all of the organizations that they're going to have conservative soccer at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there will be the liberal soccer league.
Right.
Like it's getting so ridiculous, the amount to which people are separating and dividing themselves out along political boundaries in this country.
It's a weird time.
Yeah.
I feel like the pendulum will swing the other direction at some point soon. I feel like it's at its apex, or hopefully really close to its apex, and we'll start swinging the other way, and that'll take a decade or two, and then it'll swing back and stuff. But man, everybody just has a team, and you just got to be on that team for everything. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't go to that restaurant. They believe differently than me. What the fuck? It's just food.
Yeah, I want them to believe different than me. Because they're probably going to use some different spices.
Yeah.
That I don't use.
Yeah, but
because
like literally, I mean, and this is both sides of the aisle. This is, everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing, sort of just picking a team.
I know.
It's dumb.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
It's and it's for somebody who has a lot of fond memories of his participation in scouting,
in the Scouts,
in BSA specifically.
Yeah.
Right. I hoped that the organization would be able to liberalize, right? And they may continue to be to liberalize. I don't know.
I think
exactly
what's
going to happen.
I think they will
with them.
Seems to
but
be,
it makes me sad that what should be just an all-inclusive place for just young people to go out and have a good time,
yeah,
and to learn some things and to grow and all of that, a scout camp could become very boring.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, if it's just a bunch of people who are all like you, right? Like there was always the other troops. And here in Utah, I know it was very different because 99% of the kids in scouting here in Utah are all Mormon.
And they're there because they're required to be.
But for me, not having grown up here, we had every ward had their troop. But then when we went to camp, there were the Methodist kids and there were the Catholic kids and there was the kids, the fire station, right?
Yeah.
Had a troop that they sponsored, right? And
they chose between a baseball team and a Boy Scout troop.
Yeah, and to be honest, that was the fucking troop I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, it was.
Because that was fucking cool.
Yeah, totally.
Firemen were like your scoutmasters and shit.
That'd be badass.
Right? Like,
I'd be all about that.
Your high adventure stuff is going to be a lot more fun with those guys around.
Yeah, they're going to take you to a fire.
They're definitely going to drive you around with the siren on.
Put you in all the fire gear and everything.
Yeah, how awesome would that be?
Get to wear the boots that go up over your knees because you're little.
Yeah.
Well, yes, there you go. There you go. I'm going to move us along.
All right.
To a study. I found this one fascinating. This was reported on in Psychology Today. It was a study that was published in the Journal of Sex Research, which is a scholarly journal.
Really?
And reported on in Psychology Today and other places. Came out of BYU.
Really?
Of all places. Brigham Young University, that institution so renowned for its solid scientific understanding of sexuality.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
It's the Mormon University. But this is an interesting study. They looked at pornography. And here's the thing. They weren't looking at whether or not such a thing as pornography addiction exists, which is a pretty controversial thing within psychology circles right now. It's largely agreed upon, I think, among most psychologists that there is no such thing as pornography addiction. You can have a compulsion,
right,
but not an addiction.
Some pornography is very compelling.
Indeed, good. Whoa, yeah, you get some good pornography. Although I saw an amateur porn the other day that was amazing.
Really? Like
this is probably a road I can't even go down on this show. The guy, they were clearly amateurs, but I think they were making it for an amateur site that was going to pay them for it. So they're trying all of the sort of standard hot, sexy positions.
Oh yeah.
Moving from position to position.
Oh yeah. Kind of
like robotically moving to these different positions. Now we do this one. Like it's clear that they've planned this ahead of time. They know all the things that they're going to do. She's done her hair. She's done her makeup. He's inexplicably still in socks. I don't know why. And then
that's hot. That's hot.
It's really not. And he had the weirdest body. I don't like to body shame, but this isn't about shaming him. But he looked like the main character in Despicable Me was naked.
Oh, okay, right.
And then they go, and then they prepare for the big climax money shot where. I can't do this. We got to cut the whole.
No. Keep going, Dan.
She gets on her knees.
Okay, if there are children listening, shut it off now.
Shut it off now. Yeah, literally cover your kids' ears. Pause. Go forward a couple.
I'll put a warning on this.
He starts trying to jerk it on her décolletage, on her boobs.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's ready for it. She's got the sort of O face, like, oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
He can't do it.
Oh, no.
He keeps going. He keeps going and going. I scroll down to the, progress bar. We're only halfway through this video. It is, 10 minutes of him trying. At one point, he wanders off, I assume to get some lube or something, wanders back. At another point, the most brilliant thing in the world, like all of her face has now lost she is bored and angry at this point. She at one point, like, sort of stretches her arm out and clearly looks at her watch.
Shut up.
I swear to God.
Lady, that's not going to help.
No, but
you're just adding pressure, which is what this dude doesn't need
she
right
tries
now.
to do it at one point, but that's to no avail. It's like 10 minutes, and then finally he gives some signal that it's actually happening, and then she tries to put the face back on, but it's half-hearted at best.
Any of this out?
None of it's edited. It's just you get to... And, of course, I couldn't watch the whole thing. I was fast-forwarding through it.
Was it just one camera angle? Or
oh, yeah.
Just switch
No. Just a camera on a tripod in a kitchen. So she's been on her knees on a hard floor for like 10 solid minutes waiting for this to happen.
Oh.
All right. Well, that's been Dan's porn corner. I'll get back to the story now. It's just a really funny moment. So this study that was published in the Journal of Sex Research, basically what they concluded is that religious compunctions about porn are far more damaging than porn. If porn is damaging, they don't make any sort of claim about whether porn is damaging. But what is damaging and what they're saying is damaging. It's damaging to healthy relationships. It's damaging to you can't have. It's harder to have a healthy relationship with another person if you think that you're bad for having watched porn.
Oh wow.
And so these
interesting.
So what they're so they're talking about your perception of yourself for having watched porn. And apparently one study at a Christian college, this is a different study, found that 60% of Christian men seeking help for porn-related problems viewed themselves as addicted to pornography.
Oh, wow.
But only 5% of those guys met any of the criteria related to addictive disorders. There's this belief among religious people, and let's say probably mostly men, though that's not delineated in what I read, that you're likely to get addicted to porn, and that you're bad for doing so. And that's what's damaging. It's not the viewing of porn. It's not even the compulsive viewing of porn. It's your story about being bad because of it. I thought that was fascinating.
That is really fascinating and
super fascinating for it to come out of BYU, out of the Mormon institution.
Yeah.
Not that the LDS Church is going to change their story on pornography, because the LDS Church is like, all about the shame when it comes to porn.
Right.
Shame.
Well, it's a shameful practice.
It is.
That story that you just told highlights how shameful.
There was some shame in that one, for sure. But yeah, it's it's there. I find it interesting. One of the researchers on this study, is still he actually testified in favor of the Utah law that labeled pornography as a public health crisis. So he's still on the weird side of the larger issue, because he holds to that. But what he said was, what I hope a bill like this does is get the issue out for public dialogue and discussion. It's not something as simple as banning all pornography or allowing all pornography. There's a lot. There's a lot of things in the middle that we need to understand.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I think it's ridiculous to call pornography a health crisis. That's
absolutely.
That's patently absurd.
Right.
But it's interesting that his own research, which I'm guessing he was hoping would go in a different direction,
right,
has shown that the real problem is the religious views of pornography, not the pornography itself.
Wow. I wonder at what point does he either decide to no longer continue studying the effects of porn because it's not going the way that he wants it to, or does he somehow try to, I don't know.
Or does he have a wife who's like, Are you looking at porn again? It's for work. I'm doing it for work.
I heard about this one where the guy just couldn't get it off.
I've been looking for this particular.
And the woman, her knees hurt. It's supposed to be really sexy.
I just want to
Really
watch.
hot.
I just want to watch 10 minutes of a guy trying unsuccessfully to come on her boobs. All right, let's move on.
Well, yeah. You know, who doesn't want to see that? All right, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the Mormons.
Okay.
3. We got 3 in a row now
Boom.
with the Mormons. And this is, so this has to do with the whole Mormon Leaks thing.
Oh yeah, the WikiLeaks for Mormons. They've been releasing all sorts of
Just riveting documents. Just, boy, you would never guess that those people hold meetings
yeah, exactly.
and just fastidious note takers.
Most of it isn't that revealing.
But there have been some interesting revelations. This one, mainly, I think the revelations have given us interesting insight.
Okay.
And that's where this one is. This is an internal study that the LDS Church performed amongst their lay leadership. So in the Mormon Church, you're in place of like a pastor, you have your bishop, right?
Sure.
Who oversees your local congregation.
And he's just
this guy
some dude.
he's just some dude from the ward itself, and he's called into this position. Usually somebody who's
By God. Called by God.
And your stake president is like a Catholic bishop overseeing a group of
number of
congregations.
parishes, yes.
Right. And so they surveyed them as well as an equal number of just general membership
Okay.
on the question of, does the LDS Church have political power in Utah?
Okay. For which there is a clear and obvious actual answer.
Right. Interestingly enough, when these Mormons were asked to sort of rank the political influence of the LDS Church in Utah,
Yeah.
amongst other groups, they said that the teachers union in Utah clearly has more power than the LDS Church. Which is laughable.
Patently absurd.
As well as the tourism industry having more political power.
Sure, absolutely,
Because
yeah.
they get everything they want in this state. I mean, it's just the lack of clear perception of what's going on in this state and with the institute.
This relates to the whole idea of Christian, of the larger concept of Christian of prejudice against Christianity.
Yeah.
In the
Mormons
United
have always
States.
felt persecuted, and they've always felt
Right.
that their interests are not being met by government, so you have this now. Apparently, though, the lay leadership sees wants the church. Let's see. How did it go? Oh, yes. This is, should the LDS Church have a strong influence in the state of Utah?
Okay.
Politically, right? Now,
That's an interesting question.
The leadership is like, fuck yeah, they should. 87% of stake presidents say yes, absolutely, should have. 73% of bishops. However, it's a much smaller percentage with just your general active membership.
Yeah.
They're only at 54%.
Oh,
On
interesting.
this. They don't necessarily want to see the church being the political force. Why? Well, because they've got their own. Probably a lot of them are teachers.
Yeah.
Probably some of them work in the tourism industry. Some of them work for things that have other interests, and these are people living lives.
Right.
They don't necessarily want their church to be powerful.
Yeah, make no mistake, kids.
They know that culturally and socially and politically, this state is their haven.
It's a theocracy.
Yeah.
We live in a theocracy.
It doesn't need to be more powerful.
Which, by the way, just so that you know, I recently read a thing about U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, who has said on multiple occasions, repeated it recently, that he believes that the Establishment Clause of the U.S. Constitution, the thing that says there shall be no state religion, doesn't apply to states. It only applies to the federal government. That's where we're at, kids. We've got a Supreme Court justice who openly says that theocracies in states are fine.
So he's saying that a state could say oh yeah, they have the church of Alabama.
Absolutely could set that up. There's no reason. So this is why he would never think that there's a reason why they couldn't put the Ten Commandments on a state at a state courthouse or on a state building or whatever. It's totally fine.
Right. Because
that applies to the federal government because it's the U.S. Constitution.
Right.
Which I wonder how he would feel if like all the Muslims in the United States just said, you know what? South Dakota's ours now.
Yeah,
and they all
could do that.
If they just moved to South Dakota or Wyoming, just pick a state that has almost no population.
They could own Wyoming.
They could just move there and then vote as a block, and boom. Now it's an institute Sharia law.
I think they should do it.
I feel like they should, or the Satanists should. Somebody should. You know what I mean? Like, boy, that would be a project for Lucian Greaves. Just get everybody to live in Wyoming.
Yeah. Yeah, and clearly this is also a question of, lack of ability to see one's own privilege. And, so forth and so on. But I'm just sort of shocked that you could look at this state and the Tribune, the Salt Lake Tribune, which is the secular of the two newspapers.
Yeah.
They talk to some members of the state legislature who are like, oh no, the influences the church, actually has up on Capitol Hill is really very minimal. There's never any pressure. The lobbyists never pressure us to do anything.
Right.
They come to us with suggestions. And it's like, we know for a fact that that's not how it works.
Right.
This has been...
It's been shown time and again. The second the church says anything, it's lockstep.
It's marching orders.
Yeah. Anyway.
And so if they don't want that to be the case, then they need to just shut their lip because they're going to get their way anyway.
Yeah.
Like a massive majority of Mormons up in the legislature is just going to turn this state into Las Vegas or, New Orleans.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Of just crazy open container liquor laws and just bars and casinos.
They'll put a bar in every school.
Yeah. That's not even what I want.
No, nobody wants that.
I don't want that. I like my life in Utah. I just want some representation up on the hill.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm moving on to Oregon. We'll get away from Mormons entirely for a minute, where a bill has just passed and will, in all likelihood, be signed into law that allows for secular celebrants of weddings.
Oh, wait, what?
So this was not allowed there. You could not officiate a wedding.
Oh no, yeah, okay.
If you were secular,
that's true. Okay.
And now they're finally getting around to doing that. So that's a good thing. They tried to change this law a few years back and had some trouble with it because they couldn't agree on what a quote secular organization could mean. Because apparently you still have to have an affiliation with some sort of organization. You
Okay.
can't just be a Joe. You can't just be like dude who says you're married. Which that to me is like, why the fuck?
Why not? Because I mean, if nothing else, this whole exercise with that online church has, and you just go, you pay the $20, you get the little certificate, you're a minister in that church. You take that certificate down to your county courthouse or wherever it is that,
Yeah, and you register or whatever.
register for these things. And like, this hasn't shown that like just having your friend perform the ceremony this is not chaos.
No, it's ridiculous.
You just go down, you file a thing.
Well,
why not just be able to do it?
And let's be honest here. Pomp and circumstance aside, this is a legal contract between two people that is endorsed by the state.
Yes.
So, like, just getting the marriage license should be enough.
Well, I mean, there's always been the whole justice of the peace.
Yeah,
thing.
but like, but
And
you know,
didn't
but
have
if you want to
they never
have
required
the ceremony, if you want to have the thing, what does it matter who it is that stands up in front of everybody?
Right. Or yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
You should be able to pick your friend to do it.
Yeah. Well, at least now you can be part of a secular organization. What they've done is they've decided that a secular organization is one in which the organization's members are somehow so that the organization occupies a place in the lives of the members parallel to that filled by a church or a particular
that's
religious
bullshit.
authority.
That's actually bullshit. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it's
This is actually bad.
I don't
Because
think it's bad, but
No,
it's not.
because
But it
it's
doesn't
saying
solve
that-
the real
that
problem.
The standard here
Of course,
is
the religious
this
thing.
religious community.
So if you've got a
standard.
thing that looks like our thing, I guess we'll let you do it.
If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck,
Right. Yeah. Well,
it's a duck.
can a duck perform my marriage?
Maybe.
If it's a religious duck, then surely.
Oh yeah.
Surely they can.
No, but like, I mean, come on. So
This is Rabbi Quackman. He's going to perform.
Are they saying basically like the Lions Club type thing? Like,
I don't know.
What level of organization does this need
Or
to
like
be?
Oasis, maybe?
Oasis would make sense.
Yeah.
Oasis would make perfect sense.
That sort of thing where it's like, yeah, it's basically a secular church or whatever. That sort of a thing is, I don't know. Or maybe, humanists, the secular humanists can now count or something. I don't know if they did before.
Your quilting club.
Right?
Can one of the ladies at the B,
Yeah.
help you out
Exactly.
and perform your marriage?
Your swim team.
Why not? If it holds that position in your life.
Sure. I swim religiously.
Well, why not? People probably swim more than they ever do anything in church.
Yeah.
The ones who are serious about it.
Those swimmy people.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
lean and
Seriously, if you're doing Whole30, if you're paleo,
Yeah.
you should be able to marry somebody.
at your box should be
'Cause let me
able
tell you
to
something.
help you out.
If you're a vegan, you're way more into your religion than a fucking Catholic. Anyway, move on.
That's really funny. All right. Well, here's somebody who's serious about things.
Oh, hurrah.
Not all the time, but Stephen Fry. You know that nice Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry.
British comedian and
Yeah.
actor Stephen Fry. What a delight he is.
A truly, truly just delightful public figure. A couple years ago, you would remember the video. He was on Irish television.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was being interviewed, and one of the things that he said, he called God a maniac.
Well, he was delightful on that
And
interview because
utterly evil.
because this interviewer, this sort of older Irish interviewer, asks him, "What would you say to God at the pearly gates?" and does not expect the firestorm of vitriol against God that he
Yeah.
received. Like the look in his eyes is precious.
He said, "I'll say bone cancer in children. What's that about? How dare you create a world where there is such misery that's not our fault? It's utterly, utterly evil.
Yeah.
Right? Why should I respect a capricious, mean-minded, stupid God who creates a world which is so full of injustice and pain? Right.
Yeah.
This is what he says.
That's just part of what he said. He went on this lovely rant.
Yeah.
Google it. It's fantastic.
It's it's a great video. And like you said, a wonderful moment. I mean, we talked about it on the show. Well, somebody sort of now a couple years on in Ireland decided that they were going to file a complaint, I guess, against him and bring forth charges of blasphemy.
Which is shocking that Ireland... I mean, this is not Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Ireland apparently still has blasphemy laws on the books.
They're on the books, and somebody decided they were going to try to do something with them. Well, the charges they're dropped. They didn't go through. Everybody came to their senses. They found out that really nobody was really all that offended by the whole thing.
Okay.
They just couldn't find enough people to complain about it to like actually have a case
to
against
pursue
them.
the charges.
And so, but what this has caused is now Richard Dawkins has jumped on board, and because he's going to be speaking in Ireland.
Okay.
And in Dublin on June 12th.
Oh, dear.
And he says, if you know anything about Richard Dawkins, there's going to be some blasphemy coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And so he is challenging the Irish government to charge him.
Oh, sure.
With blasphemy.
I fucking dare you.
And he just as a little amuse-bouche of what's to come. He quoted from his book, The God Delusion. And he's saying, the God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction. Jealous and proud of it. A petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak. A vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser. A misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully.
To start, for starters.
So there will be a little bit more of that in Ireland in June.
Yeah.
And he's saying, come get me.
Yeah.
Come get me. I would love to stare down some charges.
Come at me, bro.
Of blasphemy in your country. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
And what he's doing is right to point out, like, yeah, go ahead and come after me with a law that should never have been on the books and definitely needs to be off of the books now.
Right.
Yeah. It's ridiculous in this day and age to have a society where theoretically you can say things. Nobody is impervious to criticism, except apparently if it might hurt Jesus's feelings.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble.
But you know what? Here's the deal. Jesus needs to show up and complain about it.
Yeah.
If Jesus shows up and says, this hurt my feelings.
Libel.
Then
slander.
Okay, maybe we should watch what we say about Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But until that happens,
yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Good luck to. I hope this happens. I hope that he gets in trouble and that Ireland files the complaints and stuff.
I wish that it had happened officially, fully, for real to Stephen Fry, because he would have had the best thing to say about it.
You're absolutely right. It needed to happen to Stephen Fry because
Dawkins, be more fun with Stephen Fry.
Dawkins is well spoken,
but there's a seriousness. Dawkins.
It's
all serious.
It's not.
He takes
wit.
himself seriously. And Stephen Fry takes himself seriously too, but it's witty.
Yeah.
He's willing to like have some fun.
Yeah, he'd go Oscar Wilde on the shit.
Yeah.
That would be better. You're right. Well, I'm going to take us to Kansas, as reported in the Wichita Eagle. This was sent in by a listener. Okay. It's a story. It's crazy. Very clear. So there was a Apparently a woman, God told her, this is a woman named Rachel Hilliard,
Okay.
who was told by God to invite another woman, Mickey Davis, over to her home. Hilliard is in her 30s, I think. She's 35. Davis was 63 until Hilliard murdered and decapitated her.
Oh.
Having been told by God to
told her
do
to
so.
this. Well, all right. Cool.
So obviously,
end of story, right?
Yeah,
It's like God
she's
said
fine.
to do it.
God told her to do it, so we all just say, "Well, we accept that and move on with our lives." No. She's of course under arrest, and she's probably going to be harshly dealt with by the criminal justice system. But what's very interesting about
she has
that,
a religious defense.
right? She has sincerely held religious beliefs.
Right.
What are we talking? No.
No, she should be allowed to do this.
Absolutely, apparently. But this gets better.
Oh.
Because apparently days before this happened,
Oh, no.
she had asked for a friend, quote unquote. Where does one get an exorcism? Oh, no, she asked a friend where one got an exorcism, who referred her to Pastor Terry Fox,
Oh, no.
who came to her house and apparently blessed her home. And it wasn't enough.
So here's the deal.
It didn't work.
There needs to be like a public service announcement to this effect. When somebody asks you about hiring an exorcist, you need to enlist the help of a mental health professional.
Well, what
You need
might
to
be a
hook
good
them
idea?
up with somebody who can actually provide this person with help.
What might be a good idea is to ask a couple of follow-up questions. Well, why do you need an exorcist? What's going on there, kiddo?
Well, these voices in my head keep telling me to kill people and cut their heads off.
Cool. I'm going to call an exorcist right now, and that exorcist's name is 911. Because, oh my God, here's the thing. And here's what the pastor said, Mr. Terry Fox, because he went in, he blessed the house, didn't do the exorcism. Apparently, he blessed the house.
Bless the house. Well, this is on him then.
Apparently, he says, we were in the process. I don't know who we is. Oh, he is. He actually does have his ministry is called Summit Paranormal Investigators.
Oh, dear God.
Which needs, if that doesn't need a musical bump, I don't know what does. Kunk kunk. It's like, or like skunk kunk kunk, something like that.
Right.
They need a musical bump at the end of every time someone says that. We were only working. He says we were only working with her a few days. If we would have had an opportunity to get to her, I believe we could have helped. I think if we had had more time, perhaps we could have made a difference. It broke our hearts.
So
he says we were in the process of trying to evaluate her situation to see if it was mental or demonic.
Or what about it being God telling her to do this?
What if it wasn't demons?
Like, why is everybody discounting that fact?
The God story, sure.
The God part of the whole thing.
Sure.
She is saying that it was God.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't God tell her to kill this other person?
God has done it before. He has told people to kill before.
He's he kind of was taking a little bit of a break for a while, but he's gonna open some Old Testament shit on us.
Well, we keep being told that that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and this is the start of it. This is what he does. This is his specialty. This is what he's really fucking good at.
Yeah. Why are we blaming demons?
He's coming out of retirement.
She said it was God.
Yeah. Getting back to his roots,
Yeah.
Like, this is important stuff. Because, in the lifespan of a god, like he wants to feel young again. It's kind of a little midlife crisis.
You know what I miss? It used to be a lot of fun. I haven't done it for years. I'm going to go out and get some people to murder some people.
For really arbitrary reasons. Mainly because I can.
Why did I stop doing this? This is great. Oh, you should see the hubbub that ensues after I do this. It is amazing.
Let's see how the good people of Kansas City do it.
Right. Apparently, there are steps to investigations such as Fox's.
Oh, yeah.
The first step, you assess whether there's really a demon involved.
Again, God's involved. So it's not okay. He's on the wrong track, but that's fine.
And then, he's apparently they will talk about being sexually violated by the demon.
Oh yeah,
it's just don't dig. If you start digging into what exorcism, like what these people do, these people just go and take mentally unstable people and further destabilize them.
Stir that fucking pot.
They just go in and they freak them the fuck out until they flip out. Yeah. And then they're like, aha, I was right, demon.
Yeah.
And then they pray and then walk away and everybody feels better except the person who actually needed help.
The unstable person.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when they do go and do something bad, they're like, oh, that person allowed the demon back in.
Yeah.
They should have called us.
Yeah. We were getting some good work done.
Yeah.
Just give us another week.
Yeah.
You know? These things can be tricky. Some of these demons, they're little tricksters.
They are tricksy. Tricksy little demons. Naughty.
All right, Dan.
Yeah. So if you guys have anything you'd like to say, if you've ever been the subject of an exorcism, write into us. Tell us about it. I'll bet somebody out there has.
Yeah, well, we've heard from people who have.
That's true. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and tell us about it. Leave us a creepy voicemail. And the telephone number to do so is 424-666-8442.
Yeah. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And, while you're there, you can search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge or request to join. It is a closed group, however.
It's a group.
We will let you in.
It's a group that no one will know. If you don't want people to know that you're in an atheist group, this is the group for you.
We vet people.
Right. And this is not, it's not public facing. There's nothing.
There's no name in it that says atheism.
Right.
So,
matter of fact, I think I mentioned it last week. They tried to make me tag it with atheism, and I was like, no.
So, Dan.
Yeah?
We got a little bit of audio here.
Yeah, sure. We like to troll around the internet and find some Christians,
sure.
some religious folks saying some things.
Yeah, so this is that nice Rick Joyner.
Oh, he is nice.
And he's got something to say about prophets.
Boy, does he ever.
And the need for prophets.
Oh, prophecy.
And some of his own experiences with
prophecy.
Prophecy.
I'd like some prophets in my life.
There were Old Covenant prophets who knew what even the enemies of Israel, what they were saying in their bedrooms. Couldn't hide anything from these prophets. We're in desperate need of such prophets right now in the world. There were prophets that were shocked when anything happened that they didn't foresee. We need to get there. Where we should be able to put newspapers out a week before the date. And then go for longer, including sports. You don't need to watch the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Now, we had, a foretaste of that. When Bob Jones got that word about Atlanta Braves winning the World Series that year, he called it the World Serious. And he had a whole revelation about what it would mean. Now, Bob got that word during spring training when nobody was thinking the Braves are going to do it. But then we were having a conference when the World Series was going on, and Bob and I both got some of the scores of the games before the games were played. We didn't tell anybody. We wrote them down, hid them, but didn't tell anybody because didn't want anybody gambling on,
Okay. First of all, can I just say, Calling the World Series the World Serious? That's a great joke.
Well,
Good job, Bob Jones. That was a fantastic joke.
It played in that room.
Yeah. Boy, that just tells you where those people are at. I do like that there was nervous laughter when he said the whole thing about, not really nervous laughter, but here's the thing. He says, well, we should have newspapers that come out a week before the time. And everybody goes, we should.
He's not joking.
The reason that they're laughing is because they know that's not a thing.
Right.
So, like, yeah, where are those guys? We definitely should have them, but obviously that's not real. I mean, he basically said something that was the equivalent of, like, and we should have Harry Potter wands as well. Where are those? Because what it points out is that, like, of course we believe the Bible. We definitely believe the Bible. Everything in it is God's word, and it's the truth. But, I mean, when you actually talk about real life magic that's supposed to be in the Bible, everybody's like, oh yeah, that's not real.
But
if you said it about today, everybody'd be like, no, you can't do that. Can't walk on water.
Right.
Can't turn water into wine. Those things are not real.
There's no talking donkeys.
But back then it was real.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
bears. It. What did the bears do?
They kill 42 children?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Like if that happened today, that's not a miracle.
No, that's not a good thing. Bears can kill children, though. That's like one of the more believable things in the Bible is that bears can kill children. We have scientific confirmation of this. It stands the smell test. Bears do kill children.
How awful.
Also, by the way, if you have what could make sports better? Everybody would love sports so much more if we knew the outcome before the game. I feel like that would... No need. I love that he's like, no need to watch the Super Bowl. We'll tell you what happened.
Boy, he's no fun.
Way to make sports great, guy.
This guy kind of sucks. And I'm sorry, Rick Joyner. I'm not buying it. You didn't write it down beforehand.
Nope.
You wrote it down upon, if you did write, and if any part of the story actually happened in any way, shape, or form, you wrote down those scores after the fact. You piece of shit.
He didn't write down any scores. It's easy to say I wrote down the scores in secret.
Yeah.
You know what? I, Daniel Beecher, have accurately predicted the winner of the last 10 Wimbledons.
Oh, have you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Every single year I do it. I do it in secret.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. I don't want anybody betting on it.
No.
Yeah, and I certainly don't bet on it.
Well, because everybody would obviously go with your prediction.
Yes, they would, and it would. Right. The bookies would come after me. Everybody, it would be a disaster. But secretly, at my home, on a dry erase board, I just write who the winner is going to be, and then as soon as I'm right, I immediately erase it. So maybe I'm the prophet that Rick Joyner is looking for.
The
you ever
Lord
thought of that?
The Lord is working through you.
He does work in mysterious ways, and I'm pretty mysterious. So,
really, you're mysterious?
Oh,
I think it would be a mysterious thing for God to do to pick you as His prophet.
Yeah,
that would be a very strange choice.
Also, pretty strange for God to decide that the thing that needs prophecy is sports.
Right.
Like Bob Jones, I could have given Bob Jones ways of
curing cancer,
protecting people from rape or whatever. I'll give him the Braves. I'll give him a World Series. We'll test the waters. We'll see how he does with that.
This is proof that you should be praying before sporting events because clearly God cares enough.
Yeah.
And here's the question. Is it a prediction on God's part or does He make it happen? Right? Is this just...
But if you're both omnipotent and omniscient, is there a difference?
Oh, my dad.
By making the prediction, you make it happen. Or it happens and you know it's going to happen. Oh, my God. I feel like we've just exploded philosophy forever.
Yeah.
Nobody's come up with this paradox before.
Wow. Oh my God.
Oh, Lordy Lord. Well,
Yeah.
do we have some folks to thank?
We do. We got a few, Dan.
Oh, hurrah.
Let's see what we got going on here. We have Jackie and somebody who identified themselves as the Biz. They're coming in at the faithful.
Okay,
level.
thank you. That's lovely.
So thank you guys. And then Mr. I'm not trying on that one. We're going to call him Mr. K. And your namesake, Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah, another Dan came in. And they are at the Beatified.
Oh, God bless.
So thank you guys.
God bless you all.
And James continues as our Lord and Savior.
Here's what I'd like to say. Before we sign off on this, I'd like to every now and then I feel like we need to sort of talk about what this is, this patronage thing, because I feel like we do have some ads on our show and stuff.
Right.
Now our patrons get an ad-free version of the show,
Which is, yeah.
but what we get from I don't know, want to lift the curtain too much, but our ad revenue is not what's paying our bills.
No.
It's a nice added thing for us, and we want to make sure that this is a free thing for people to get, and so if you can't afford it, or if you don't want, you don't feel passionately enough about our show that you want to contribute, sure, you can still listen.
Right.
But if you are, if our show does have some value to you, and you feel that, and you want to be a part of the community that actually sustains us and actually, makes this possible for us to continue doing, and makes it more than just a love, a thing of an amateur endeavor, in the truest sense of the term. It really is so helpful for us.
Indeed.
And it's something that we I can't tell you how much we appreciate our patrons for doing. And you can come in at whatever level you want. You choose how much you want to give as your sort of your part of this transaction.
Yeah.
You come in at whatever level you choose a per episode amount on Patreon, and then you can just there's other perks. We do a weekly diary that's just for our Patreon listeners at a certain level and stuff. But yeah, it just helps us out, and it sustains the show. If you want the show to keep going, if it's something that's of value to you, we sure do appreciate all of our patrons very, very much.
And you can become a patron by going to our website, which is thankgodimatheist.com, and clicking on the support tab.
Right.
And there you'll find a link that'll take you to Patreon. And like Dan said, there's different levels, and you pick the one, and there's rewards, and it's awesome. And
you can feel like you're a part of the thing.
Yeah.
You're making it happen. So thanks so much to all of you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the daughter, and the mother, and my aunt, and somebody else's uncle. Amen.
Amen.
So, Franklin,
Yeah.
here's the deal. Out there in the world, there are religious folk. I don't know if you've heard of this. This is a thing that's real. People believe in a lot of mysterious stuff. A lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to me.
Hooey.
But there's a bunch of hooey out there. But a lot of that hooey has centuries of history behind it. Millennia of history behind the hooey.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we live in an increasingly hooey-free, or we're in a time that is trying to cut out the hooey.
Yeah.
As we go.
Yeah.
It's not always. It's not a fast process, and it's not a very accurate process.
Nor is it painless.
But we're trying.
Yeah.
And as our societies get increasingly secular, things like this happen. In Belgium, now already in Denmark, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
the slaughter of animals in a halal/kosher fashion is outlawed.
Yeah.
And that is because they believe more in the humane treatment of animals
Right.
than they do in Jewish/Islamic hooey.
Right.
Now that's a rough one because these are traditions. These are deeply held beliefs,
Right.
that go back
A long time.
a
Centuries.
gazillion years. I think it's exactly 1 gazillion years. And so obviously these moves now an area of Belgium is threatening to do the same thing, and this is seen as anti-Semitic, blah blah blah. This is seen as a move against Jews or against Islam or against religion, or depending on who you're talking to.
Right. And if you were anti-Semitic, you probably wouldn't have any problem with it.
No.
But you're right to point out that this is about animal rights, and this is about our ethical treatment of animals.
Right. I do want to point
As a
out
society.
that the area of Belgium, the region that has voted to ban kosher and halal slaughter, is called Walloon.
Oh yeah, that's the French-speaking part of Belgium.
I'm also going to point out that the article that I'm looking at right now has at least one time the word Walloon. I had to sort of get closer to my computer screen to verify that my eyes weren't just crossing. They have 3 O's at the end. So that's cute.
Well, yeah.
If you're going to have a typo, at least make it so that it says Walloon, which it makes me happy. Anywho, both Jewish kosher and halal rituals require the butcher to slaughter the animal by slitting its throat.
Oh boy.
And then they drain the blood.
Yeah.
Now, in a lot of these countries, the way that they want an animal slaughtered is to first stun it and then kill it.
Right.
The thinking being that the stunning actually won't is so instantaneous that the animal feels no fear.
Right.
And then they just cut the throat and the animal dies quickly, or slaughter, however they do it. The thing to the head or whatever. It's an interesting question, and what I thought it would bring up for us, and the day after Walloon decided to make this a thing, Norway, the Progress Party in Norway, which I think is the 3rd largest party. Political party in Norway, they voted that their parties at their party's national gathering. I guess their position now is that circumcision is wrong. At least before the age of 16.
Male circumcision.
Male circumcision is what we're specifically talking about.
And it goes without saying that female circumcision is wrong.
I guess so.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not speaking for the Progress Party of Norway, is what I'm saying.
Right.
In my mind, it is definitely wrong. Right. In my mind, the mutilation of a child's body, especially genitals, is always going to be wrong.
Where do they land on piercing of ears?
I don't think we've gotten
because
to
I
there.
do think that that's wrong too. I don't
of little girls or little boys,
any little child. But yeah, the little girls with the pierced ears. I'm
you're
always
going to get in more and more trouble.
I don't care.
I know.
It's distasteful and it's unnecessary, and let the child grow up a little bit and let them choose it if they want it
at an age when they can.
Right.
So this circumcision thing is really pissing off the Jews. The Jews are now claiming that it's completely anti-Jewish, specifically, because while I think I think circumcision is an Islamic thing too, but they can do it. They don't have to do it as an infant. They can do it as a grown person, and that's totally cool.
Well, I get the desire, I guess, to have it done on infants, because then you just know that it's just done. There's you know, like, really, you're gonna make me choose this as an adult?
Well, yeah. Who would choose it? Not many.
You know what? I'm gonna keep it.
I'm gonna
keep this part of my body.
I think I'm just gonna have my whole body.
Really? You just want to attack it with a knife? Okay. All right.
You want to cut off part of my penis? I'm gonna say no.
I don't feel very good about that.
I'm gonna say no.
That does not strike me as a good idea.
Yeah. How
about we get some? How did they use it? I mean, I guess there've been knives for a long time, but boy, howdy, it's a terrifying procedure.
Here's what we're getting at, though. I don't want to get too into the weeds about the specifics of this, because what I want to get to is the idea of, as society progresses, there will be more and more ways in which societal beliefs bump up against religious beliefs, where the society on the whole says, you know what? This is wrong. What you guys, I mean, I get that you guys believe it deeply, but you're wrong about it. And this has happened. I mean, there's no Christian in all of Western culture that's going to say, oh no, human sacrifice is totally cool. Even though there have been plenty of religions that have believed in human sacrifice over the ages, including that famous human sacrifice of that Jesus fella. The Christians didn't do that, so it's okay. Somebody else did it to them. But boy, do they love it that
they do.
Happened.
They in all of its blood and glory.
But what I'm saying, but here's the question. The question for me is this, and I'm just going to throw this out to us, because we are experts. Mm-hmm. In no way are we experts, but we might as well discuss it. What happens? What space do we make? Because what tends to happen is this, the liberal secular people say, oh, we're just going to outlaw blank. We're just going to, it's a barbaric practice, and we're just going to outlaw it. And then
it's not very.
The religious
very
people,
liberal to me, though.
The religious people scream and shout about, like, this is religious persecution and blah blah blah.
Right.
I feel, is there a better way, or like, do we have to carve out space for people to be able to mutilate their children?
All right. So here's where I fall.
Okay.
On this whole thing, because I'm pretty. I believe I think I fall into the whole you need to carve out a space.
Okay.
Camp. I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, we're playing a very long game here. And we're not going to get the society we want by just legislating it entirely. I think that we have to work, like you get the laws in there, right, for the vast majority of people who really aren't going to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I do think that at times religious exemptions are appropriate. I actually do believe that, like, I know we make fun of them a lot.
Right.
I know that, like, and even on this episode, or I can't remember exactly what my statement was, but, like, it comes up and it's infuriating that people want to be able to do their little thing just because they believe it.
Right.
But I honestly think that at the end of the day, less resentment builds up, less potential for radicalization builds up, and again, it depends on what the issue is that we're talking about. I think some issues you just have to put your foot down on, and you have to figure out what those ones are going to be.
Right.
But I think that by and large, you let religious groups alone as long as what they're doing isn't completely abhorrent, and the goal being that eventually, in a generation or two, the life that we have versus the life that they have is just more appealing.
Is just going to show itself to be
a
more
and they're going to have a harder time retaining the next generation.
Yeah,
right?
I think that there's something about that.
But if you push them away and you make them angry and you make it to where that they have to grab their children and scream and force these values into them,
right? And separate themselves. We are a group, and we have an enemy.
And they make their children weird. They make their children so they don't mix well.
Right. And they make their children,
they others.
Pull their kids out of public schools, and they say, and this is clearly happening a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like, when you create enemies, you've gone a wrong place. Yeah. Here's one of the things that I think is interesting. One of the things that we should be cognizant of is, yes, if there are centuries, millennia of tradition backing a practice, it may still be a bad practice, and that practice may be even morally wrong.
Right.
But to just say absolutely not is going to do that, is going to radicalize people, you can't ignore the history. But what you can do is say, because there are also going to be cults that pop up that say, well, we want to practice X and we want to practice Y. And we can absolutely say, no. Right. No. We're not going to make a new religious exemption for a behavior that's not acceptable societally when you have zero history backing you up.
We grandfather you in.
Yeah,
we don't let you do new stuff.
We don't. Yeah, we don't start. You can't start the new circumcision cult or whatever.
No, or the new polygamy cult.
Right. Or polygamy, I think, I'm actually okay with polygamy if it's entered into willingly and not prescribed.
So outside of a cult setting.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but we have to come to it not through a religious point of view, but through the examination of the morality of marriage, and asking larger questions about what marriage should be, what it is. And I think we need to ask those questions. And as we do, we're going to start bumping into, marriage is a perfect place where
we have
in the next 50 to 100 years, we're going to be bumping into a lot more. We're going to keep bumping into religious people who are like, gays definitely can't get married. Right. And, eventually people are going to want to say, yes, I have a non-traditional setup and I want the protections that marriage offers for me and my wife and her husband.
Right.
And, and his husband. And there are going to be some weird-ass setups that are going to eventually want and probably deserve the same legal standing as
possibly
as a Christian, a good Christian marriage.
Right. Well, and I think, but this gets us in the neighborhood of an ongoing issue, which is gay marriage is legal in this land.
Right.
And we have all of these conservative religious groups that continue to push back, and they're trying desperately to carve out their little space. And I don't know where I would want to land on some sort of compromise with them. But I don't think that we should just be, nope, it's the law. It's fine. That's done.
Well,
and again, this is something on the show we've talked about, the pizza parlor that doesn't want to host a gay wedding pizza celebrate whatever, right? Like they don't want to cater the reception,
right?
And it's laughable, but at the end of the day, we do have to have this discussion.
Yeah,
we can't just completely ignore them. I don't think I would ever land on the side of, I think the pizza parlor should be able to deny anyone they want services.
Right.
Because I think when you open your doors, you kind of go into you have a contract with the public at large.
Right.
But there are parts of this that we may want to allow some discussion and some wriggle room. I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
But I think that when you just absolutely 100% shut people down, you start to see what we're seeing now in our society, which is just complete polarization, backlash, radicalization. The angriest of the people have the most prominent voices, and it's just wrong. We've landed in a place that isn't working. We live in a dysfunctional society at the moment.
Yeah, although then there's the question of like, what is one to do when, for instance, they are trampling on our rights? We fight.
We fight.
We scream and rail and
absolutely.
So I think maybe our utopia that we're describing of like reaching out and trying to help and blah blah blah. There is the point at which when you give an inch, they want the mile. When they're going to have. There will be a time when we have to say, you know what, guys. The shit's just illegal.
Right.
You just can't do it.
Well, and I guess what we're talking, this is something that we said earlier before the show, which was, and we haven't really said now, which is we're sort of imagining a world here that is atheist majority, where the secular forces really have the control. Right?
Yeah.
And because I think that maybe it won't be atheist majority anytime soon, but
it'll be secular majority.
People who desire to live in a secular society, it's going to be the clear majority sometime hopefully in the near future.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of decide, how are we going to wield the power that comes with that? What kind of society do we want to be creating for the minority groups in said society? And for me, it's pluralism. It's carving out spaces for strange practices that are weird, but not completely damaging to the people involved.
Well, and not infringing on other people's rights and not infringing on anybody else's practices. And
I think it's the only way that we continue our march forward without too much disruption.
And along those lines, I think one of the things that we could do that would be wise for us to do as a group, as a society in general, is to carve out, because I don't think we're doing this at all, is to propose guidelines by which we make these decisions. To say, you know what we need right now as a society, because we have to have laws and we have to have a way of deciding how we make these laws that's better than just, I have blank feeling and I have, blank influence over Congressperson X, so this happens. My feeling is catered to. Mm-hmm. I feel like somebody needs to start proposing ways in which these decisions are made that are fair and equitable and that take into account larger groups, various, whoever has all of the, whoever has interests, but that also I feel like we need a better system in place. I don't know if such a thing exists. I don't know how to make such a thing, but I feel like we need it. That's a call out to all of you political scientists or whatever.
Let's start a little wiki.
Fix it.
And we'll add our ideas onto it.
It's just so ad hoc. It's just so sloppy, the process that we have now. Yeah. It's just whatever people feel. Feelings are not the way to make laws.
Well, right now it's the angriest group.
Whoever's screaming is going to be heard and is going to be like, yeah. Because if you scream enough, then you'll get on the news. And if you get on the news, then somebody will take you seriously. And if somebody takes you seriously, then somebody will draft a law.
I know.
If you guys have the solution, I'm sure one of you does. I'm sure one of our listeners has the perfect solution for all of this. Or rather, if you just want to write to us about something we've said, feel free to join the conversation. Podcast@thankgodimatheist.com is the email address.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
In the meantime, if you want some fun entertainment, go to that Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button.
Or if you'd like to join a private atheist group where people won't see you being a part of it,
you'll get support.
Yeah.
And nothing more.
You can search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Facebook, thanks to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page, and thanks to Danny, Sarah, and Amy for all of their hard work as moderators in the Members Only Lounge. We sure do appreciate all of y'all.
And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
Yeah, and thank you, dear listener, for tuning in.
Bye-bye.